Master, fellow Toastmasters, and the honored guest of this evening. During these hot summer months, I thoroughly enjoy going to the movies. I go to the dollar movie theater, and not only does it allow me to escape the heat, but I get to escape reality for just a couple of hours. And I'd like to share with you a recent movie that I saw, so if you would cooperate with me. I recently saw a movie where a young teenage girl, age 14, decides that she wants to become a movie star. She's from the Midwest, Nebraska, or one of those Midwestern states, and decides that I need to go out to Hollywood. Her mother packs up the car and they drive out to Hollywood. They live out of their car for over 1 year. Now, in reality, what would happen to this woman? She might live in poverty, end up doing drugs, but this is Hollywood. So, she ends up becoming a movie star. One of the biggest movie stars in the entire world. Now, I was just fibbing when I said that this was a movie because it is a real life story. It's the story of Hilary Swank. I'm not sure if you know who Hilary Swank is, but she had the opportunity to work with Clint Eastwood, make the movie $1 Million Baby, and have an Academy Award. She earned that Academy Award for $1 Million Baby. So stories like this are very, very inspiring to me. They inspire me because they allow me to see someone with a dream that they're so passionate about, so motivated to do, that they'll pursue it no matter who tells them that they can't do it. It'll never be done. Another story is of a young gentleman, a high school boy, whose father used to be a scientist. But he was laid off of work and had to become a janitor. So he enlists the help of his son. The son goes to school during the day, is a janitor in the evening, eventually drops out of school and decides that he too wants to make it in Hollywood. So he is so confident in his abilities, he writes himself a check for $1 million. He's able to cash that check because when he gets to Hollywood, he makes it big. He makes it in the comedic scene. He starts making movies and was the $1 Million Man for movies. I'm speaking of Mr. Jim Carrey. A third example, a young girl. Her parents split when she was young. She ends up moving in with her grandmother, her grandfather. They were very strict on her, and she didn't like to play by the rules, so she ends up in detention center. She ends up there for over a year. Everyone assumed that she was never going to make it. She's never even going to graduate high school. She lived in the inner city. She lived in poverty. And during this, she lived in the 60s and 70s when there were a lot of racial tensions and she happened to be African American. She rose and is now one of the most successful women in the entire world, one of the richest women. I'm speaking of Miss Oprah Winfrey, who has a full empire now. She comes from poverty, went to a detention center, and now has the opportunity to have her own production studios, have her own successful television company for over 25 years. If she says something's gold, it's gold. In fact, I recently saw a television show on MSNBC called The Oprah Effect, and it shows the impact that she has. That she's revolutionized the book industry. She has just changed the way the world works. In fact, she met Dr. Phil, simply because she said something negative about mad cow disease, and the whole beef industry suffered because of that. So imagine going from poverty. Everyone tell her, you can't do it. And she goes over insurmountable odds and does it. Now the reason that these stories are so inspiring to me is that when I was a child, I had a childhood dream. Did any of you have childhood dreams that were not fulfilled? Well, my childhood dream was to be an astronaut. I swore that I was going to be an astronaut. But there were no women astronauts. So even though I was 5 years old, I was a bright kid. And I said, well, I'm not going to be an astronaut. I'm going to marry in the show Bewitched became my favorite show. Oh, I'm sorry, I Dream Jeannie became my favorite show because she was dating an astronaut. And so when I hear stories like this, I see the insurmountable odds that they go through. And it inspires me. When people tell me, Kathy, you can't do it, it inspires me to know that in reality I can do that. Now, if you could distribute some papers, you're going to receive a nice little flyer from Fabian. And when I come to meetings like this, it inspires me. And the reason it inspires me is because I know that in this room there are heroes. There are heroes, just like Hillary Swank, just like Jim Carrey, just like Oprah Winfrey. There are heroes in this room. And what is a hero? It's going to show you on this flyer. A hero is someone who's hopeful. They're empowered. They're ready to seize any opportunity that comes to them. And I know that each of you knows a hero in this room. Among them, and I know that most of us, we recognize that we too are heroes. And just like every hero, we all have a cape. And that cape is this can-do attitude to perform exceptionally well. And I see heroes each and every night that I'm here. So I would like to take this opportunity to have you recognize that you are a hero. Proudly put on that cape and continue to reach for the stars. Mr. Joseph.